Hello friends, welcome to EduTap. This is Deeksha and the scheme that we are going to cover today is Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana National Rural Livelihood Mission, that is DAY-NRLM. And see, this scheme, it is important from all the examination point of view and which dimensions should you focus on while preparing for examination, that we are going to cover in this session. But before that, to our new audience, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel and do join our Telegram channel to get the PDF of every lecture that we provide here on YouTube. See, so what happens in every session, I ask you to tell me that which scheme should I cover, and Himanshu, he first asked me to make a video on National Urban Digital Mission, and because that was recently launched, so we covered it. And next he also asked to make DAY-NRLM, that is the scheme that we are going to cover today, Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana National Rural Livelihood Mission. And because this scheme, it is always in news, and in November 2021 also it was, and that is why we are covering it. So let's start with it. See, it is a very basic understanding that nobody wants to live a poor life, right? So what happens in rural areas, because there is lack of technology, there is lack of education, and there is lack of the different livelihood opportunities, basically the awareness of it, right? So that is why the government, it came up with this scheme, that this mission to uplift the livelihood conditions of the rural people. What is livelihood? Basically, to fulfill the basic necessities of day-to-day life, it is known as livelihood, and hence this scheme, it was introduced. See, one thing that you should keep in mind, that this is an umbrella news. What is an umbrella scheme? Any scheme that consists many of sub-schemes, and all the sub-schemes, they work together for this higher purpose, for the purpose of the mission of the umbrella scheme, that is known as a sub-scheme. Right, so here it is an umbrella scheme. We need not to focus on the sub scheme because today we are going to understand about this only, and let's start with it. But what I'll do, before I'll give you a basic history of how this scheme, it came into existence, because most of you get confused with it, basically with the launch year. So today we are going to understand that. See what happened. First, there was a scheme, there was a yojana named as Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarojgar Yojana, right? So this yojana, it was introduced in 1999. But we need not to study about this, because then there were a lot of modifications that happened in this, and then this particular scheme only, it was modified into the Ajivika National Rural Livelihood Mission, that is the scheme that we are studying today. But this is about 2011. So basically this scheme was modified in 2011 to become Ajivika NRLM. Then what happened? Then in 2015, the scheme, it was renamed as Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, that is National Rural Livelihood Mission. So that is why when asked about the launch year, that is 2011, not 1999, because that was a different scheme. Why? Because a lot of modifications were done in this to make it into this form. And then what happened? Why not 2015? Because here it was renamed. If asked when was renamed, then it's 2015, but it was launched in 2011 only, and I hope that is clear to you all. Now what we'll do, we'll go with the basic one-liners, the dimensions that are asked in your examination directly in phase 1. So what are these? See, the launch year of this is June 2011, and I hope now you do not have any confusion if you had earlier any. Right, talking about the ministry, so this falls under the Ministry of Rural Development, easiest to remember because we are focusing on the rural areas. That is why the ministry associated would be the Ministry of Rural Development only. Next is the funds. So how the funds are given under this? So basically it is a centrally sponsored program, and World Bank is associated with it. How can the question be asked that which entity is associated with NRLM for the fund? So that would be the World Bank, that you should know. So World Bank, it contributes to the fund. Now talking about centrally sponsored programs, so what is it? So basically there are two types of scheme, centrally sponsored and centrally sector. Central sector we have already covered in previous sections. Central sector is when the central government, it gives 100% of the funds. What is center sponsored? The money, it is the funds, it is divided into the center and the state. So here in case of center sponsored, in case of center and state, the fund is divided into 60:40 ratio. This is in general. When we talk about the ratio between center and northeast states, in those conditions, if this is specifically for northeast, then it is 90:10. Then third one is for the UT. So because these union territories, they are directly under the central government, and that is why they are 100% funded by the central government only. This ratio is for center sponsored programs. I hope now it is clear to you all. Well, now let's move ahead with the other important points that you should know while preparing for this scheme. We coming to the aim, that is to eliminate rural poverty. So the aim here is to eliminate the rural poverty. And how? See, there are two aspects to this. First, to let them know about what are the different livelihood opportunities that they have, right? So making them aware of the things that they can do, and then providing them or helping them with the finance, because you must need money for setting up a business or startup, right? That is why there are two aspects to this, and the aim is to eliminate the rural poverty. Next is through the target, it is to cover the last household by 14 years. So basically under this scheme, a lot of short-term goals have been made. We just have to focus on the last one. And here it is expected that until 14 years, this mission, it will try to cover each and every household under this particular mission to uplift the conditions or the livelihood of the rural people, right? So this was about the aim and target. Now we'll understand what are the key features of this particular scheme. So let's start one by one. We'll understand everything in much clear way. First is to universal social mobilization. So what does it mean? Social mobilization is nothing but when you collect a lot of people together and you make them understand a particular concept, or you teach them something. So here what basically would happen, at least one women member of poor household, that you should know, of poor household will be brought under the self-help groups. Okay, so self-help groups, a women, at least one woman will be included, so that there is also participation of women in this. Also, the focus would be on the vulnerable section of the society, for example, bonded laborers, for example, the backward tribes, right? So all this thing that would be done under this. Okay, first is universal social mobilization. Second is participatory identification of poor. As the name suggests, the people, the poor section, that they would be identified, and they would now then become the target group of this mission, and they would become the beneficiaries of it. How these people, they would be identified? Basically, it would be by the people of that village only, but then that should be certified, or that should be approved by the Gram Panchayat and Gram Sabha, that yes, that these sections or these people in this village, they come under the poor category only. Next important feature of it is community funds as resources. So what basically herein there are two factors. One is revolving fund and community investment fund. So revolving fund is something that never collapses, right? So it is always there for the use, that is the revolving fund. And community investment fund, as the name suggests, this particular fund that could be used for the investment in the community for the betterment of it. The next feature that we should focus is the financial inclusion. In this, the particular mission, it would focus on both the demand and the supply sides of financial inclusion. So what does it mean? Basically, in case of demand means it would function two ways. In first way, it would aware the rural people about what are the different opportunities, or what are the different ways they can take loan or any financial help from the government. And on the other hand, it would help all the financial institution with the coordination, so that there is a proper coordination between these rural people who wants to take loan and the financial institution which provides it. Next is the livelihood, and for livelihood, that is the basic aim or the objective of that scheme is to first reduce the vulnerability. How it would be done? When they will be aware about the various livelihood options. Then employment, then they would be taught about the different skills for setting up a business, and finally the enterprises, they would be there with them even when they start up their business, right? So as I told you before, this is an umbrella scheme. There are many sub schemes. For example, we have already covered the Startup Village Entrepreneurship Program, which is under this scheme only, and the link it is in the description box below if you haven't watched it yet. So what I mean to say here, that here livelihood, basically what was that livelihood? The basic necessities would be focused on under this scheme, and that is a key feature of this scheme. Next is convergence and partnership. So what is it? Basically, convergence means basically if any other program that is run by the Ministry of Rural Development, which in somehow, if that particular program, it focuses on uplifting the livelihood of the rural people, that can be converged with this mission for the betterment of people or the rural citizens, right? So in fact, not only that, but if there is any centrally, not by just the Rural Development Ministry, but by any ministry, some good program which is relatable to what the aim of this mission is running in that particular village, that can be converged. Also, here is a term that is partnership. What does it mean? So with the help of NGOs, by taking their help, the upliftment of the livelihood, that would be done. Next is sensitive support structure. So what is it? So basically, see, you need a sensitive group that is very, you can say, the sensitive people basically here means who are aware of what it takes for the rural people to lift them up, because it is not easy to help them, because of the different mentalities between rural and urban people, and the fear of starting something new. So there should be a sensitive group or the supporters that would help them this particular mission grow or flourish. So this was about the key features. Now what we'll do, we'll look at that why did we study this particular scheme. There must be something in news, right? So basically what happened, the Rural Development Ministry tied a Flipkart to sell products made by the artisans in the rural areas. Okay, so what is this news all about? Flipkart, which is an online shopping company, so it has signed a MOU with the Rural Development Ministry, and for what? So that whatever products that are made by the artisans, they could be sell, right? So this was in news. Now what we'll do, we'll have a quick revision of everything that we have studied for the better understanding. So we'll start with the basic things, that what is the launch year. So the launch year of this scheme, it is 2011. With the Ministry of Rural Development, that we know. Talking about the funds, so funds, they are center sponsored and World Bank, that we have already understood what is a center sponsored scheme. Then for the aim, it is to eliminate the rural poverty by awareing the people as well as providing them the financial help that they need. Target is to cover last household by 14 years. And talking about the key features, we have already done. The first one is the universal social mobilization. Then we have PIP. Okay, next one is the community funds. Then we have financial inclusions, livelihood, sensitive support structures, and at last we have convergence and partnerships. So that is all for this particular scheme. We have already covered everything that is important from the examination point of view. Now there's a homework for you all, and the homework says, what is the name of the brand launched by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs for marketing for the urban self-help group? So here, that is the trick. We have in today's session we have done the National Rural Livelihood Mission. This is for the National Urban Livelihood Mission. Urban Livelihood Mission, I've already made a video. If you haven't watched it yet, you can look at the playlist and there you can find it. So that is, you have to tell me that what is the name of the brand that is launched by the Ministry of Housing. So, okay. And this tie-up, it is done with Amazon and Flipkart of both. So that is your homework, and I'll definitely give shout outs to the people who have commented down the right answer. So here, for example, we have a sale for you all. Okay, so basically you can get 40% plus additional 10% off on all our courses by using the code SINGLE, and also flat 50% off on all the combo courses by using the code COMBO. And this particular sale, it expires today, so do not miss the opportunity for it. Now, yes, this was the homework of the last time that we have asked. Anurag gave the right answer as before also, and Edge, he also said the right answer. That was the 100 smart cities that were, the question was how many cities are under smart cities project, so the answer was 100, right? And Himanshu, you are welcome for it, and kindly make a Mahatma Gandhi National Fellowship. Okay, I'll make it, I'll search about it. If it is important, I'll definitely make you a video on it. And if you like our content, kindly do like, share, subscribe, and tell your friends about it. That would help us to reach more people and help them. So yeah, that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed the session. I hope you learned something from it. I'll come again with some important government schemes. You can comment it down and I'll make tomorrow the video on it. So yeah, thank you. That is all for today, and we'll meet again. Until then, all the very best for your examination. Thank you.